Read and Write is a specialized toolbar to use with web pages, Google Docs, slides, and PDFs. It's similar to using CoWriter and Snap and Read. And just in case you notice it when I pull up some of the different websites, the parent company is TextHelp. So if you see that, it's still in the same, you're still in the right area. There's multiple options. It's available on Windows, on Mac, iPads, and in Chrome. So we're going to be focusing today on Chrome because that's what your students are going to see most often in Chromebooks. So we're going to see how exactly to find exactly where that will live on your web browser and how to get that and how to find that on your student's Chromebook as well. And then hopefully I'll answer this last question as we go along. You'll see what the tool does, but technology is all about giving access for kids, and this program does that. It's providing speech to text and vice versa, dictionaries, visual and audio support, and we'll see a few examples of that as we go along and what that toolbar looks like in the different programs as well. We will also see an opportunity to explore independently in a scavenger hunt at the very end. This will also be an Eduforia for credit as well, and so I'll show you that at the very end of the presentation. So, getting started and making an account. This is going to take 24 hours. Let me say that again. It's going to take 24 hours. You're not going to be able to do this today, so go ahead and get your account set up, and then you can go through, and that's why the whole scavenger hunt is kind of an opportunity for you to get to play along. You can pull this video back up again and go to the time that I have below the video of when that demo starts and go along. There's also going to be a playlist from TextRead or TextHelp for Read and Write that will explain each one of them in short little bursts. So if you're wanting to look at one tool at a time, that might be a great opportunity for you too. So we'll kind of look at some of those different things. You're going to go to the website that's listed on the screen. It's going to look like this. When you scroll down, it's going to have a setting up your free teacher account. It has two programs. You're welcome to do both of them. Keep scrolling and you're going to see the area here. I also have a handout that will be linked below as well. That's going to tell you everything you need to know about this page. It's going to give you all the information, who your contact people are. You need to enter it exactly as I've entered it on here, except for changing it for your name. You can click all three boxes and you can get the emails with help and content if you desire is not required. Again, that 24-hour turnaround for you to get the most of the features, but even on this page it's going to tell you that to keep going, go ahead and do the non-premium account, and it's going to give you the toolbar accessible in your browser. So if you see here, this is where it's going to live once it's been installed. To do that, you actually go to your Chrome store, which is in the colored waffle. You go to the web store, and then you're going to be able to search for it. In this case, I think we also have, there's Equatio, which is one of the programs, and we have the screenshot reader, you have the PDF reader, and there's the Read and Write. So those are all going to be ones that you're going to end up wanting in addition to this one specifically to be able to use all of these premium features with the students that need those accommodations. Now, the students that are going to get the premium account are going to be your kids who have 504, have it in ARD, going to need some of those different supports for those areas, and then some of your ESL students as well. So that being the case, we've also provided the free version, which doesn't have everything, but we'll let you see what that looks like for all students, and those are all already available on the Chromebooks. So when you install the Read and Write extension, you've got a couple different toolbars depending on what it is that you've opened. So you've got Google Docs is going to have certain different things, a web site is going to have different things, and a PDF is going to have different things, but they're all going to have generally the same things. Some are just going to have more or less than the others. So we're going to kind of look through some of those and do a demo of what those features look like. Again, here's that feature playlist if you wanted to go in and see them individually versus watching the whole video all the way through, then that gives you an option right there. That's going to be linked down below in the video as well. Alright, you should have a PDF that has all of these tools. So when you pull that up, it should look like this. We're going to go each one of these item by item in a couple different ways, so you can kind of see what it looks like in a couple of different programs. So what we're going to do is start with text-to-speech. And I'm going to pull up a document in Google here. We've been playing with it. So when I click on that icon, it's going to pull up my toolbar, and you're going to see that I have all of the pieces already enabled. If I'm looking for something specific, I can hover right over the top of it, and it's going to give me what that is called. It doesn't tell you any more about it, but that's why you have the handy little handout in front of you. You can make it hidden up in the top, but it will still be accessible without going to the bar up top with all of the extensions, so you're not having to find it. You also have an options area for more options, and in that options it's going to have all of the feature selections that you can change, the different voices that you can choose, different languages, how fast it's speaking, and then some of the different pieces here. The screen masking will show you in just a little bit, but it's going to have some of those different features and what you can make to change and customize that for your students or for yourself. Alright, so we're going to start with text-to-speech. You have your obvious buttons here. Your text is play, pause, and stop. When I hover over and select an area, I have continuous reading turned on, so it's going to continue reading until I tell it to stop. So I can hit play and it's going to start.
European thinkers began to apply scientific principles to the study of...
When I pause, it's going to have it here. Notice that it does highlight as it's reading. You can change all of those highlights and customize them as well. Okay, so now we're going to go straight down the line. First one is going to be Check It. On this one, it's a proofreading tool that checks for spelling, grammar, and confusable word errors, otherwise known as homophones. Punctuation, capitalization is coming soon. When you turn the feature on, you're going to see the errors in purple, so it's going to look very similar to having a spell checker in your typical either Word or PowerPoint or your Google, any of those. It's going to have that same type of thing that they're used to seeing with that underline. When you right click, it's going to have the suggestions or corrections, just the same as you're kind of used to seeing there. You've got prediction. That's going to be this one. It looks like a little crystal ball. The prediction is going to be providing word suggestions as you type. So it's going to think through what you might be looking for next to help kids to be able to make complete sentences, things like that, and complete their thought. If they're not sure what words are coming next, it's going to give them a suggestion. We've all seen autocorrect. It's kind of similar to that, but it's going to be predicting. Alright, so then we move on to the dictionary. This is going to be a floating dictionary that they can move around their screen. It's going to give them a couple different options of whatever it is that they've got highlighted. If this isn't enough, or they also need a picture dictionary as well, they've got that option. This program's actually built through Board Builder, and so the pictures are going to be very similar to what they would see in a Board Builder type program. It's not going to be super dynamic pictures, but it is going to give them an element that they can kind of attach meaning to, and you can drag those around. It is available on multiple words, like a hearing aid, a bathing suit, words that would have a different meaning based off of that, but it's not fail-proof on some of those. So if they need something a little bit more than these pictures that come up or these dictionary items that come up, just remember you always have this Explorer down here in any of the Google products. When you pull that up, it's also going to search different things and give them more information, both images and different ways to research and look up things on the internet without leaving their browser, or in this case in their Google Doc. Okay, again, that's right here down at the bottom. It's called Explore. Next, we have the screenshot reader. We're going to come back to that when we go to the PDF. It's a little bit better on the PDF than it is on the Google Doc. You will also need to this is what I was showing you in that other one where we had several different things to download. This is one of those that you'll have to do a separate download to be able to use it. But it converts inaccessible text to accessible text, and that's the type of text that's embedded in a picture or a chart or a graph, so that those are readable by kids as well, so that they can see exactly what is being said in areas that aren't usually readable. Alright, so the next one is Audio Maker. This one is going to collect text into an audio file that can be downloaded. So I can select it. See how it's making a thing? There's my audio file right there. So it's going to give me snippets of information now in audio. This can also be something that they've written into an audio form so that they can play it back if they wanted to. And that can be shared in Google Drive, which can then be saved and shared out for the teacher to be able to see their work. Next, you have a web search. This one's going to be similar to using the Explore option down here. I just find that this one is not run by Google. This one's run by Google. You're going to have a little bit more results down here than you will up here, but it's going to give them full outside of the document as well. And so I feel like that's not as accessible for all kids, but it might be a better option for them if they're used to seeing this screen when they're looking for new information. All depends on the age of the student and what that student is needing. Alright, so that's that option right there. It's called Web Search. Next is Screen Masking. Alright, you're going to get this toolbar off to the side. It's floating. It can move anywhere you want it to move, so that can be kind of out of the way. It's going to be on the page itself, so just kind of know that. Off to the side it has a settings area that's also accessible up in the 3 dots. They give you the same toolbar, but you can see that it's just giving you a highlighted area. To change that, I can change the background color, which is the darker area, and the reading light color. So say I want different colors, I can do that. And then I have how opaque the screen is as well. So it all depends on what they're looking for in this area as well. And then I can also make this area that's highlighted larger or smaller down to a single line. Okay, then the reading light does not have to be on there at all, so if kids are needing a different screen color to be able to read and see things better, you've got that as well. As you're playing with it, you can also look at it and say that this didn't work for you at all and you want to go back. You can hit reset and it will go back to the original defaults. Alright, so then there is your screen masking. To click out of it altogether, you're going to actually go back to the screen masking on the toolbar, and that gets rid of it altogether. Alright. Next, you've got Talk and Type, and this is going to be your dictation tool. Many of you have seen a dictation tool before, but this allows students to then talk into notes. It lets you talk into the document itself. And so that's going to give them some different ways of providing feedback. So say you've got a Google Doc and you want them to answer questions based off of a video that they watched or the lesson that day, they could text to speech straight into the document and give you the answers that they're looking for. The next one is a translator. This translator is going to be for a single word, not for everything on the page. So if you're looking for a translator that's going to do everything on the page to turn it into a more accessible document for language learners, you're going to actually want to use something like Google Translate. Okay, if you're looking for that, we can do a tutorial later. Alright, but if you're wanting a single word, they do have a translator. It is not as robust as Google Translate, so you're going to get some strange options sometimes. Alright, next we have the highlighters. You have a couple different options here. You have the different colors as well as the clear highlights. So we're going to clear the highlights because we've kind of already got some highlights to play around with here. So I'm going to clear those. One of the ways that they were showing to use the highlights is to say I have certain types of information I want in different colors, and it's going to be maybe dates this time. And so I can do that, and then I can come in and say I want different movements, because we're talking about movements in this one, and so those are going to be in different colors as well. Then I can come in and say certain people. So that one might be in the next color. And then I want certain things that are specific to vocabulary. So maybe I want the word enlightenment. This is going to categorize them when I use this tool right here, which is called Collect Highlights. When I collect them, I can collect them by the position they are on the page or by the color. This is going to put that similar information together, or I can only select one at a time. So say I want to do something like vocabulary, I could look at just the vocabulary and then build my word bank off of that. So there's some different ways to kind of play around with those collections. I'm going to show you what that looks like when you hit OK. It's going to tell you where I got the information, so I can always go back to the original, and then it has them by color, so you can see how the different areas are put on there. So if you're putting a study sheet together of information and you're trying to clear away some of the extra information on the page so they can see exactly what it is that you're looking for, this might be a way of having them do that. The other option, I'm going to go back over here, is to highlight a couple different ones for my vocabulary, just so that I have enough here, is to come and do the vocabulary. And when I hit vocabulary, it's going to have a new document for me here. Words that are highlighted are going to be coming up over here. It's going to give you meaning, and it's going to give you a symbol if they have one for that. So sometimes you're going to get a single meaning here, but sometimes if it's a multiple meaning word and they've got different ones here, they're going to give you all of them. So this would be one of those things that you might want to come in and say, all right, which one do you think means the same thing as what the reading is telling you about? And then that's going to have some maybe better options for kids to really hone in on the right option, and the pictures may not be exactly what you want as well. Again, you can go down and explore to add in more information there, but you can kind of see how that works. This is all editable once it's been created. It's not pulling any information once it's already been created. It's no longer attached to the original document, so you can come in and move something else here. So maybe this would be the non-example, or maybe they put a put the definition in their own words. Things like that can be done here in that vocabulary. Alright, so that's kind of how those highlights can work to kind of give you both a study sheet, a way of simplifying the information on the page, and that vocabulary as well. So then the next tool that we're going to be looking at is the voice notes. So voice notes allows you to record, and then it sits over here as a note to the side of it. So if kids are not able to come in and type different things, they could give you a voice note instead. This could be a way of putting their answers into the document. It could be a way of giving them an option to respond to text that they're reading, and it is going to be a short audio file. Alright, so we're going to click out of that, and I want to take you to a web browser so you can see what that looks like as well. We're going to use Dogo News just because that's an easy one, and I kind of already know how it works. So here you're going to see that they have quite a few pictures, things like that. So when I pull up that toolbar again, okay, just like it did before, comes up, you're going to see that some of the different items here have gone away, but this one has still quite a few of them. But you've got this simplify page, and so when I click that, it's going to give me an option of how much do I want on this page. Do I want font only? Do I want a bigger font? What colors do I want it? And I can simplify it to just the outside edges where all of those advertisements and extra pieces and other things that they could look at could be, but I can also simplify it even further and have just text, depending on what kids need again. And you've got different options to play around with for font. Again, you can make font bigger, you can get a serif in there, so it all depends on what the kids are kind of needing to be able to see. And it still works with all of the other tools up here, so if they're needing something as they're reading, they can pull those up and play with them. Alright, the other cool thing about the web is that I can select an area that I'm wanting, and I can pull up this one right here, which is called Practice Reading Aloud, and it's going to be working on fluency help. And so it's going to select a group of text that you select, and then you can record and send that to your teacher what it is that you've read. And so it gives them an opportunity to be doing that. It only will save this for 7 days. There is no download. It's automatically purged. So it's not something that's going to be there for a long time. They can reread if they want to, if they make mistakes and want to practice it again, but it just gives them some opportunity reading aloud and being able to share that with you as well. Alright, so let's look at a PDF. This is in my drive. So then I'm going to open with Read and Write. It's going to give me the toolbar. So you can see that this one's going to have some pictures and things like that. This is going to be inaccessible text because of where it is located on the page. That's where this one is going to become such a heavy tool for you, because I'm going to be able to read that inaccessible text as well. Okay? So anytime they have anything like that, it's going to come up a little bit easier for kids to be able to see it with that screen reader because it is a text. Alright, so this one's seeing the whole thing as a picture.
Timeline. 1633 Galileo condemned by the Catholic Church for arguing that the sun is the center of the universe.
Okay, so once I've clicked out of that, then it's done. You still have the highlighters in this one. When you drop down, all the rest of the options will show. To collect highlights will be there as well. This one has a typewriter annotation in it that was not available in Google Docs, so I can pull the typewriter in, and it's going to have an area here. It's going to have the prediction. It is going to have the talk and type, so you're going to have some of those different options. They can read it back to themselves to see what they've written. If they want it, they can add it here, or they can get rid of it altogether. So this might be a way of taking notes. Things like that can be done there. The other thing they can do is push pins. This push pin, they can put it right in and type based off of a certain area, and it's going to leave that push pin there for them to come back to if they wanted to. Okay. The text is going to actually leave the text box there. They have freehand drawing, so since they have touchscreen devices, this is going to be easier for them to navigate, but they can come in and write better than I do with my mouse. The other thing they can do is do the shape drawings. Okay, so they can come in and put boxes around information that they're looking for. They can circle, put lines, etc. Okay, so those are going to be some of the options that they have specifically in the PDF version that they didn't have in the others. Alright, so that is a brief walkthrough of the items here. Again, you have that playlist through Read and Write that you can go through and look at as well. That's that feature playlist right here. Again, we've done the quick reference guide. You're going to want those additional 2 pieces. One is called a PDF reader and one is a screenshot reader, so you're going to want to download both of those. Students should already have them, but if not, if you remember me pulling up that PDF, that's where you can find those, and it's going to work with the PDFs just a little bit easier. Okay, so we are on to the Scavenger Hunt. Now, knowing that when you're watching this video, most of the time you're going to be looking at all of this for the very first time, we wanted to give you an opportunity to come back and actually explore the tools once the tools are live and you've got them all on your screen to play around with. So we've put together about an hour of work on independently that you can go through the different tools. You can use the Scavenger Hunt recording sheet, and it's going to look like this. When you pull it up, it's going to say what tool on the toolbar you're going to use and what you can use it with. When you click on that, it's going to have an article, a Google document, or a PDF to play around with. When you scroll through all of them and you've completed it, then you're going to hit submit, and that's going to send me an email, and I'm going to put you in Eduphoria and give you an hour of credit. So as you kind of go through that, you can email me and get more information should you need to. You should be able to use this video or the feature playlist that I have in the slideshow that'll be linked below to be able to do the challenges on this page. So happy hunting. Have a great day. Bye.